I think what would make an application stand out in particular is kind of just being yourself and showing your personality in your answers as well. And this can be through different skills that you've learned throughout your past work experience or past, jobs as well. So I think it's just trying to get that personality into your answers in your application.
My top tip is to make sure that your law firm application is really well tailored, especially when you're reading for the graduate talent teams that are reading hundreds or potentially thousands of applications. It's really obvious to us if we've read an application where someone has just done a basic application and it's just changing the law firm names.
Yeah, there's lots of ways to kind of make your application stand out, but I think highlighting transferable skills that you've gained kind of from a range of different places can be really, really helpful. There's lots of skills that you'll have picked up kind of at school and at university that will really naturally translate to the legal workplace, and it's about really kind of promoting that and making it stand out, kind of really putting your best foot forward when you're making those applications. And also trying to get experience as well. That can show kind of your motivation for the sector, but also show that you've worked on those skills in a professional setting, which is always really helpful too.
So the best way to show interest in a firm is looking at recent projects that we've been doing, our client base, looking at the partners at the firm, what they're posting on LinkedIn. We have some real active members in the LinkedIn page at the firm.
Probably when you're trying to show genuine interest in a firm, it's not about just reiterating what you've researched. I think it's probably thinking, okay, what has made me interested in that firm and how does that connect to me and my skills? I think that takes it from a sort of a generic answer to something really focused on the firm and focused on you.
I think the best way to show genuine interest in a firm is by coming prepared. Sort of already knowing a lot about the firm can really help. I think it really helps us as firms engage with candidates because we're able to give a little bit more tailored responses. You can kind of put a little bit more meat on the bones if you come with the bones already, if that makes sense. So I think it's really useful for us to sort of feel that genuine enthusiasm as well and, build that rapport, which really the application process is kind of all about.
I think the best way to show genuine interest in a firm is, without sounding too simplistic, but actually doing the research in the firm. You can really tell when somebody's kind of done more than just a basic Google search on the firm. Some feedback I got after I obtained my training contract was that they could tell I was passionate for the firm. I knew the deals that the Manchester office had done. I knew their core clients. I knew the sectors that not only the firm operated in, but the Manchester office focused on. So I think having a deep dive and a deeper understanding, not just of black letter law, but of the law as a business, but specifically the firm you're applying to. And that goes with attending events like LCN Live or, going for informal coffees with people in the industry and getting that kind of behind the scenes knowledge that you otherwise wouldn't.
When it comes to researching firms, the most important thing for me definitely was being thorough. So I think it can feel easy to, you look at all these different firms online. A lot of them will do similar practice areas, say similar things, but focusing on just a few rather than applying to loads and loads and, doing really deep, thorough research on the firm's values, the practice areas, maybe trends that the firm is really engaging with. I think just doing that as thoroughly as possible is the best approach.
The law careers students need to kind of make sure they're kind of doing their research into the firms in particular. Gately for our firm is a PLC, a little bit different to a traditional law firm. So I think, really getting into that and learning about the different areas that are within the business is really important. And I think networking in general is what helps the students build their confidence in their applications as well. So even just any kind of networking events throughout different cities is really important, and kind of insight evenings and things like that also are really helpful and will help them through their application forms.
So in terms of researching firms, students should approach that by kind of diversifying the sources that they're using to get information about firms. So the first thing that I would always suggest to look at is what is the firm actually telling you, and you can do that through looking at the firm's website, their LinkedIn pages. But then the second kind of stream of research you want to do is looking at what other people say about the firm. So that's the feedback that clients have given, or their rankings in different legal publications, what's on LawCareersNetLIVE, or kind of other publications to kind of build your understanding. And then I'd also suggest that students and candidates compare their own research on different firms. So you might have researched one firm and then another firm, and you might kind of compare and contrast the different things that they do, because that will also build your knowledge of the kind of legal sector generally, and the different types of firms that are out there.
Non-law students are able to really showcase their transferable skills. So at Trowers, we really understand that legal work experience is really hard to come by. So we have a list on our website of competencies that make a fabulous trainee solicitor. So this can involve resilience, motivation, teamwork. Have you had a part-time job, volunteering at university? Have you taken a leadership role anywhere? There's loads of qualities that you can get to be a great trainee solicitor that doesn't necessarily have to come from legal work experience. So make that your edge.
In terms of using non-legal work experience to your advantage, I think actually non-legal work experience is just as relevant as legal work experience, and actually for many people it's easier to obtain. So it's about identifying the transferable skills. So if you've got a kind of part-time job in retail or a customer-focused sector, that's so relevant because your customer is like your client. So you really can use the different experiences that you have in engaging with people to kind of draw links and demonstrate your understanding of what a trainee role might actually look like.